You ever hear the saying, you've got to spend money in order to make money? Well, that's true in the martial arts industry sometimes. And today we're going to be talking about how retail losses can actually fuel sales in your school. Hi folks, I'm Paul from Martial Business Matters. Keep watching to find out how losing money on certain retail items can actually improve things in your school or club. Okay, Paul, what's the deal? Martial Business Matters, I'm talking about losing money. What in the heck is going on? Well, I've got a story to tell you and to walk you down the process of how I'm about to start losing money on certain retail items. You have to understand what those retail items are. I'm going to post a little card here to take you to a different video where I talked about trim kits in my retail pro shop, and how I prepare those kits and what they look like and what they are and why they're relevant. But long story short, go watch that video. But long story short, in my system, Tungsudo, we use colored trim on certain uniform jackets to denote progress through the ranks from white belt to black belt. And we do those trims at green belt, brown belt, and red belt. And then we also trim the black belt jackets, and the black belt is the lapel, the skirt, and the cuffs. The colored trims, the green, brown, and red, are just the lapel, the part that goes around the neck and down to the skirt. And in my previous video, I discussed how I go to Joann's and I buy the fabric and I cut the fabric and I seal the fabric up in these nice little bags with a business card for my local tailor. And why that makes people's lives easier and how that promotes sales in the pro shop and so on and so forth. But one of the things that I've wanted to do in my pro shop for quite a while is actually sell jackets out of the pro shop that are pre-trimmed. Jackets that are pre-trimmed with the green, brown, and red trim options for the students who promote to those ranks. It's a very easy sell. So somebody promotes to one of the more advanced ranks, they're really excited and proud of that promotion, and you sell them a jacket that's pre-trimmed so that they don't have to go through the process of buying the trim kit, taking it to the tailor, waiting a couple of days, getting it back, bringing it to class. If you sell it pre-trimmed, that's an easy upsell. It's probably going to make it a faster turnaround for people actually getting the correct trim on their jackets and so forth. And it's something that you can sell for a premium because the work's done for you. If I sell a jacket out of my pro shop for 40 bucks, a standard student jacket, and then I sell the trim kit for 10, and then my tailor charges them 10 or 15 to sew it on, you know, they're already looking at a $65, $75 jacket, where if I sell it pre-trimmed, I can sell it for $70, $75, and my margin will be larger as a result of that. But even if my margin wasn't larger as a result of that, even if my margin was the same and I was going to make the exact same, 15 or 20 bucks selling it as a pre-trimmed item versus an untrimmed item and then selling the trim kit, it does make my students' lives easier. It makes their parents' lives easier. And so, as I mentioned in that previous video, again, card and link down below, anything that you can do as a school owner or a club manager to make your students' lives easier, to make it simpler to be part of your program, to make it simpler to be part of your processes, anything you can do to simplify or ease your clients' lives is going to improve your school. It's going to improve it from within. It's going to make people feel better about you. It's going to make people feel better about your program. It's a positive thing all around. And more things to sell out of the pro shop is just more opportunities to upsell, right? So somebody buys the pre-trimmed jacket. Hey, would you like to go ahead and get the colored keychain or the hairband or the whatever that goes along with that to kind of make the whole package, the congratulatory promotional package. People love that stuff. People love buying knickknacks and doodads and what's-its. So this is something I've been wanting to do for quite a long time. And Century Martial Arts, my major supplier, and I use Century for pretty much everything with a few exceptions. And I have a whole video about that, by the way. I'll link that down below and put a card up there as well for that video, why I use Century. But Century actually has pre-trimmed jackets available for purchase. They have them available in green, blue, red, and black. Well, if you're watching, you realize I missed a color, the one that I need, brown. So Century's got me covered on stock items. I'll get them screen printed and stuff, so they're customized, but Century's got the green trim jackets, the red trim jackets, the black trim jackets. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, because maybe you want an example of what I'm talking about, here we have a traditional jacket, and you can see that there's the green trim that runs just along the lapel and ends at the skirt, and that runs all the way around the neckline to each bottom. And so this uniform here that I have in my hand, this was done by my tailor. It's the fabric that I bought from Joann's. Again, watch that video. And my tailor sewed it on, and that's what they get. But Century actually has these jackets, same jacket, just pre-trimmed. Now, obviously, the cost on that's considerably higher. If you watch that video that I just mentioned about Century and why I choose Century, my average cost for a jacket is typically, 15 to 20 bucks. Really, it's closer to 20. Prices have gone up a little bit since I shot that video. But my cost on this jacket, if I get it pre-trimmed, that is, I get it from Century with the trim, is more like 30 bucks. So there's more expense to me. But again, I can turn around and sell that item in my pro shop for 70. Right? So it's a viable venture for me to sell pre-trimmed jackets out of my pro shop. But coming back to the brown trimmed jackets, that creates a problem because Century doesn't have pre-trimmed jackets in brown. They only have them in green, red, blue, and black. So if I'm going to offer them in green and red, I have to offer them in brown. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It's an incongruity out of the pro shop. People will ask me, well, I got my green jacket, trim jacket, I got my red trim jacket. Where's the brown trim jacket? I need that one. And so anybody who's testing to brown belt or promoting to brown belt is going to feel left out. And so we can't have that. If we're going to offer it in green, we're going to have to offer it in red and brown as well. So what am I going to do in that situation? Well, Century has a customs department, and you can go through their customs department and get a customized jacket. And when I say customized, I mean they can customize everything. If I wanted to, I could order a green jacket. I could order, a hunter's green jacket with neon pink lapel, purple sleeves, and stripes running down the side. I could do that. And that would cost me quite a bit of money. It'd be a lot of customization options. But for me to get these jackets with the brown trim, I'm going to have to go through the Century's customs department and customize a jacket order. And I did that today, and I placed an order, and where the pre-trimmed green trim or red trim jackets from Century are going to land at my doorstep at a cost of about $30 a jacket, those customized pre-trimmed brown trim jackets are going to land on my doorstep at a cost of about $65 per jacket. So I'm going to buy these things for $65 a pop. In fact, I already did buy these things for $65 a pop. It'll be several weeks before they get to me because it's a custom job. But that's an expensive jacket for your average 7 to 12-year-old kid, or even a teenager, or even some adults. That's an expensive jacket if I do a traditional markup. If I do a traditional markup on that jacket, which is anywhere between 40 and 150%, then for somebody to buy that jacket on a traditional markup, it's going to be an $85, $90 jacket on the low end. And that's just probably not a tenable price point for the average student. Now, if it was a heavy duty ripstop, double ply Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gi, then yeah, you could sell one of those for $100 all day long. But for just a jacket, a standard lightweight 7-ounce student jacket, I don't really know that I could get away with selling that for $90. It would be a fair markup. It would be a reasonable markup based on my cost, but it wouldn't be something that I'd realistically be able to sell very successfully out of the pro shop. And so what am I going to do? Well, I want to have congruity across the board. I want to be able to say, well, if you want a pre-trimmed jacket, it's X dollars. I don't want to have to tell people, well, if you want a pre-trimmed green jacket, it's $70, but if you want a pre-trimmed brown jacket, it's $95. Again, that just is doubling down on the incongruity where there's a difference between the two jackets when it's the same jacket, it's just a different color trim. Can't do that. And I can't just raise the price on everything, because then I do have an unreasonable markup on the green and the red ones. So I decided, after careful consideration, that in order for me to do this, to move forward with this project of selling pre-trimmed jackets out of my pro shop, the only way I can reasonably do it is move forward at a potential loss on the brown trimmed jackets. So I do the math. I say a regular jacket is 40 bucks. A trim kit is 10 bucks. For them to take it to the tailor, have the tailor sew it on, it's 15 to 20 bucks. So 70 bucks. I'm offering to take all of that work off of their plate and just sell them a new jacket for 70 bucks. That's an even Stevens swap. If I wanted to upcharge it a little bit, you know, I could maybe charge 75 for it. Say $75, brand new jacket, it's pre-trimmed, all of that. But I think 70 is a prettier price point, so that's probably where I'm going to put it. So I'm going to say $70, and that is a fair markup on the red and the green jackets. $70 is basically a loss on the brown jackets, because like I said, it's about 65 landed, and once you account for tax and everything else that goes into it. Oh, and by the way, that's after my discounts as a wholesale distributor and as a Maya Elite member. That's after my discounts. Customizing things is not cheap. So I'm basically going to take a loss, or let's be generous and say it's a wash on the brown trim jackets, and I'll make the money back on the green and the red trim jackets. So realistically, is this a good business move? Well, remains to be seen. I have never sold these jackets out of my pro shop before, so I didn't order a whole lot of them. But I do think that it has a high probability of being a successful upsell in the pro shop. It's something that students need, and a lot of students are going to be very happy for the convenience. And so I think that it's worth the adventure, but it is an expensive adventure. I'm going to wash or lose money on the brown trim jackets, make money on the green and red trim jackets, and hope that it balances out in the long run. And where I'm coming from and what I've come full circle to is this. I said at the beginning of the video that in certain situations, it's okay to lose money on retail items. In certain situations, it's okay to lose money on retail items. And even if we just call the brown trim jackets a wash, anything that's a wash is a loss. Anything that's a wash is a loss, because if you're not making money, you're losing money. There's no such thing as staying even. You're making or you're losing. Just like you're either growing or you're shrinking. There's no such thing as staying stable. And so it is a loss, but it's a loss with potential gains on the other side of the coin, in that I start selling more jackets. And again, every time you make a sale out of the pro shop, it's an opportunity to upsell something else. So more sales out of the pro shop equals more sales out of the pro shop. It makes my students' lives easier. It makes things more convenient for my students. There's going to be a lot of people who will pay for the convenience and appreciate the opportunity to have their lives made more convenient. Which engenders, better spirit in the school, more appreciation for the efforts that I take on behalf of my students, and gives a more favorable impression of me, and so on and so forth. So in that circumstance, in this circumstance specifically, I think it is okay to lose a little bit of money or wash out on a particular retail item, because it helps me expand my retail offerings in other ways. And so there it is. That's the story. That's the message. Typically, you're looking for a markup of between 40 and 150%, depending on the item. But in this case, I'm looking at a markup of basically nothing. And that's okay. And you've just seen the video as to why. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in to my little story time. Once again, like, subscribe, ring the little bell. And let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. What are some questions that you have about retail pricing and maybe where to get things and how to sell them and how much to sell them for? Let me know down in the comments and fuel the next video on this subject, on retail in your pro shop, in your school, in your club. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and remember, you watch Marshall Business Matters because Marshall Business matters. Take care.